Thank you. So this is very important. We saw the cadets over there who are being trained now. Now, everything that has been said today from the first presentation to the last one will all depend on how good we apply these on board ships. And we need these cadets at the end of the day to become officers and apply this new technology on board ships. So let's not ever forget that. So that's why I wanted to show you the video. So very, very importantly, you clearly have, I'm more than ever convinced that you probably have left the best for the last. So the first important thing is to say that the IMO has adopted the greenhouse gas strategy to reduce carbon intensity by 40% by 2030 and 70% by 2050. At the end of the day, by 2050, we all know that has to be cut by 50% compared to the 2008 figure. So that's what the goal is. So this has been discussed before in the morning, so I just want to quickly go back to this. A lot of our colleagues were discussing whether it is from whale to wake or what. This figure gives you this graph gives you an idea of what exactly is happening here. So the whale to wake emission of CO2 given in kg CO2 per megajoule is calculated in terms of the fuel consumed to get the work done. So the bars demonstrate the range of uncertainty because of the composition, system efficiency, escapes, etc. And you can see that just because the HFO and MGO, anything else other than HFO and MGO do not necessarily mean that's a better deal. That's really important for us to understand. So there is a lot of uncertainty about how to make this, the figures look better, and we fully understand. Remember, if we have bio-derived fuels, we might be actually compromising the food supply. So it's more complex than what just appears on the surface. Also, I just wanted to point out here that it's a tension between the global challenges and the industry trends. It's a roadmap that we have to follow. We can't ignore the economics, the politics, and the climate, and in terms of the governance structure. So there's a lot of negotiations to be had while we are making the transition from hardcore fossil fuels. So the challenges are not straightforward. But let's go back to the original question, the exam question that I have been said, which is what is the role of the academic institutions in terms of preparing for a decarbonized future? Correct? That is the question. So at the moment, if you look, unfortunately, at the top line, you can see the MET, as in Maritime Education and Training. I have gone over the syllabus, looking at the, country after country, continent after continent, but I do not see that any MET provider at the moment is actually teaching the transition of fuel. Because MET, the Maritime Education Training, is very specific as to what can be taught under the SCCW requirements, and it doesn't allow for, there is no room for it. Okay, but there are some examples of separate bachelor's courses who do not go on board ship and become graduates, such as an example, not necessarily the best, but an example of Nanyang in Singapore is doing a BSc program. And it is talking about environment, sustainability, society, economics. But these people, these graduates, will not be seafarers. They will be absolutely very important people, but much selected, much fewer in number. So this is what's happening as of now. The third point is there are some summer schools like World Maritime University, they're offering this programs, specifically looking at maritime decarbonization. Maersk, McKinney, Moller Center, and my previous institution, Solent University in Southampton, Newcastle universities, and there are many other universities that are doing, but this time on the research side, not in education and training specifically. So in terms of what is happening globally, I just wanted to give you an example of what kind of projects we are doing. I was very much involved with this project in Solent, where just an example, not necessarily the best example, an example of what universities are also doing in terms of reducing carbon emission. Not necessarily the change of the fuel and the technology, that's important, that's happening on the side, but look at this. This is a classic real-life example of how a 40-passenger fast ferry can use some kind of a naval architectural change so that it kind of runs on a foil and uses much less energy. This is where it's a test bed where the test happens, where researchers in the universities are doing trial and error to find out how can the fuel efficiency be achieved through some design change. Okay? Now, this graph will give you the idea of how universities around the world are working to do similar things. I've just taken an example. So, such research is driving change, and you can see that if you are going to use the hydrofoils and the foil with the trimaran, definitely the speed is achieved using much lesser power and therefore much lesser fuel. So these are the things that are also happening on the side besides the core discussion around the quality of fuel, or the type of fuel rather. So going back to the question again. So what is the driver? The driver for the education sector is that we have got the situation ahead of us with the 2040. In the 2040s, that's, somebody said day after tomorrow, which I absolutely agree, is 300,000 seafarers will be sailing on, and 750,000 seafarers will be requiring alternate fuel technology training. By 2050, we will have 30% fleet on old fuel, 50% fleet on gas, and 20% fleet on alternate fuel. Now this is real, this is coming down the track. And 2050, 600,000 seafarers will be on gas, and 300,000 seafarers will be on alternate fuel. I got 3 sources to make reference to afterwards. I'll do that. On the right-hand side, if you see the last 3 bullet points, really speaking, the new high-end skill sets from seafarers will be enormous in terms of they will have to have a complex digital automated understanding of chemistry. Somebody called it biochemistry. Absolutely endorse that. We have to make sure that the operators understand the basics of what exactly should be is happening on their ships. Safety culture, onboard training. I think what is going to happen is we have to train and educate the operators, the users of the system, to make sense of all that is happening. It can't be just following the manual. They have to understand the theory behind this to be fully conversant with what happens on the ships. So we have to find a way that this knowledge that we are creating in research and development labs is transmitted to operators and absorbed by them. So in terms of what colleges should do, this is my last slide, is that this change is not like any other change that we have experienced before. Trust me. We have gone through like the radio system to GMDSS 25 years ago. Yeah, we have done many other changes. We've gone into EGDIS on bridge. But this is different because this is going to mean the entire concept of engine room, entire concept of propulsion, and therefore ship handling is going to be different. So we have to invest in simulation technology. I invite ship owners, those regulators, to work with us, work with education providers like ourselves to engage with us and get into this early. I want to also point out that we have to partner with shipping companies to develop bespoke courses, maybe do some trial and errors with us as to what is best that is possible to apply in fullness of time. So train the trainers, and we have to continue to do research. I think by not including alternate fuel technology in MET, the Maritime Education Training, the risk is today's seafarers, who will be tomorrow's teachers, will not be ready to absorb the change. So today is 2024-25, 10 years' time, they probably be lecturers in the university. So if they are not taught today, then they will not be in a position to understand what needs to happen. And you saw those numbers in 2030s and 2040s. There is a huge need for such training. So the risk is that if we do not, what may happen is we may end up scientists with no shipping background teaching cadets on alternate fuel technology. That's not ideal. Or we may have ex-practitioners trying really hard to learn technical knowledge from a crash course on science of alternate fuel technology. I'm trying to say to you is that we have to stop this. Either of it is not really ideal. You've got to find a solution. So my ask on behalf of the world's maritime colleges to you is to engage with us early, see us as your partners, let the training of seafarers not be an afterthought. Let us work together from the college with you, and as a partner, we can do better. Thank you very much.